Hey everyone, Danny here, and this time I'm here to explain why I couldn't really get into the original Gex game. I just wanted to get that out of the way for those who like this game but don't really want to hear someone negatively talk about it. And so I just wanted to get that out of the way that I will be talking negatively. I will have some positive things to bring up, but I will be talking negatively about this game. For those of you who have seen my previous video about Crash Bandicoot, and considering I released it on the 27th birthday of Crash Bandicoot, at least here in North America, you would probably think that the natural next step would probably be like Spyro, since it's still September of 2023, at least as I'm recording this. But I wanted to change it up a bit and talk about Gex. I probably will talk about Spyro at some point, but right now I want to talk about Gex. So one thing to know about me is that I love the Gex games, at least 2 and 3. And there's only 3 so far, unless you count the Game Boy games as separate games, and there's like 5, and Gex has made a few appearances elsewhere, and of course as of right now there's that upcoming collection of these first 3 games. So it's a small franchise, at least right now, but I love 2 and 3, I just don't like 1. The plot is, there's a gecko named Gex who loves watching TV, and one day or one night, there's a fly that comes around in his apartment or house or whatever it is he lives in, and Gex eats it, but he didn't know at first that it was sent by an evil robot dude named Rez, who reaches through the TV, Gex's TV, and pulls him in, and now Gex is in somewhere called the Media Dimension. This is very much a mid-90s game, so it has very much a mid-90s comedic game plot. So now Gex must go through different levels, collecting remotes and reaching Rez and defeating him and then getting out of the TV and all that stuff. This game was originally exclusive to 3DO and was apparently one of the best 3DO games, but if you know the 3DO, you know that's not really saying all that much. It was eventually ported to like Sega Saturn, maybe Windows or some kind of computer, and the one that I played, that everyone else played pretty much, the PS1. So to get some positives out of the way, I really like the premise of this game. This gecko goes into a TV and goes through these TV-themed worlds, like a horror theme, a cartoon theme, and all that stuff. And it seems pretty cool. Now, if you know the development story of this game, I think the original guy who came up with kind of the concept didn't like where it was going, and if you want to know more about it, just look it up. But I like the idea of this game, basically. The environments look pretty good, the music is pretty good, and Gex does say some pretty funny stuff, although it does get pretty annoying after hearing the same stuff over and over, and as he does it a lot. But you can turn that off, so it's fine. If you get bored with it or annoyed with it, you can turn it off. Just not while you're playing the game. Also, like Gex's moveset, I mean, he can whack enemies with his tail as well as objects, and he can bounce on them with his tail. He can use his tongue to grab stuff like power-ups and health and lives and things like that. And he can also crawl on walls, which is, well, I'll get to that here in a bit. And he can also run if you hold a certain button. Now here's where the negatives start coming in for me. While I like Gex's ability to crawl on a lot of walls in this game, they abused the opportunity, and it was at the cost of good level design. I mean, I get it, he's a gecko, and if you wanted Gex to act like a gecko or a lizard in general, this is the game where he does it the most, but it just wasn't designed very well. The level design it's very cramped, but at the same time, when it's more open, you don't know exactly what's going to come if you go up or down. It's kind of that 2D game problem, and it just doesn't feel very good to play. There's also that problem with the enemies where you don't really know where their hitbox is exactly, and of course this is one of those games where if you just run into them, it counts as them attacking you. So, you know, you've also only got 3 hit points. You can get more if you can find them, but your standard is 3 hit points, and it's just really annoying. Now, this may be a bit nitpicky, but this causes a bigger problem than it should. Whenever you pause the game, that's all you can do is pause the game. You have no other options whenever you pause it. All you can do is unpause it, because if you want to go back to the world map, you have to die in a level. If you want to go back to the main menu of the game, you either have to get a game over or reset the game. And this game has passwords and not a save system, So you better have access to passwords. Now, in all fairness, a lot of older games did that. You didn't really get a lot of options outside of being in the main menu. So if you wanted to change a lot of settings, you'd have to be in the main menu of those certain games. But it's still annoying. It doesn't make it any less annoying. Now, that's usually not much of a problem with a lot of those other older games, but with games like this, it feels like it's more of a problem than it may actually be. Now, getting through the first world, the graveyard world, or whatever it was called, was fine. I mean, I was able to get through it without having to use cheats or anything, or passwords. But once I got to the new Toonland area and I got to the second level, I just quit and resorted to using cheats to show off more worlds for this video. Which, using passwords and cheats definitely helped things, because I was able to get to later levels, as well as put in cheats for like infinite lives and invincibility. That only really cooled down my rage with this game, but that didn't completely get rid of my rage. The level design still sucks. All that happens is that you don't get hurt as much, but you can still die from like bottomless pits and things like that. Now, this is also a nitpick. I mean, it's not really a huge deal considering it involves cheats, but whenever you exit a level, either by dying or you move on to another level, you have to re-enter the cheats again, which takes up a little bit of time. But you know, again, it's kind of a nitpick. I mean, I should be glad there's cheats here in general, but it is still kind of an annoyance. The bosses in this game are okay. I mean, you still have that problem with, you know, you don't know exactly where the hitbox is, and even whatever you're supposed to hit them, but they're alright. They're not as annoying as the level design in this game. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the original Gex on PS1. I mean, I like the idea of the game, I just don't like the execution of it, the overall execution of it. I like the stupid story, I like the environments, I like the music, and Gex can be pretty funny when he's not talking too much, which does happen a lot. But the level design and all that just really kill it for me. It just really defeats my liking of this game. So if you hear me say I love Gex, it's not for this game. I mean, a lot of my love for Gex is nostalgia, but even taking those away, I still think 2 and 3 are actually alright games. This game just kind of sucks, and it's a real shame. So I love Gex, I just don't like Gex. Well, that about wraps things up. If you did like this video, then go ahead and leave a like, and let me know in the comments what you think of Gex. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, then go ahead and subscribe. You may also see other types of videos on this channel. And, you know, have yourself a good day. I still need to come up with an outro at this point in time. Before I go, if you want to see like an interesting advertisement for various Crystal Dynamic games that were coming out around this time that this game came out, just let the game stay on the menu for a little while and it'll come up. You could probably look it up on YouTube, but it's more fun to just have the game and then see it that way. It has some weird dodgeball type thing. It was a bit crazy.
What this place needs is color. Who opened the can of whoop-ass?